Welcome, folks, back to the Healthy Habit Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dayon of Healthy Habit Medical Center, and this is episode 244 with Stacy Faulkner representing Emerald Labs. She's the educator there. She's been coming on as the National Educator at Emerald Labs for many years with us here now. She was with us even back on 1100 KFNX AM radio here in Phoenix. So Stacy's been joining us here on this health and podcast journey when we switched over a couple of years ago.
I miss that radio.
Welcome back, Stacy. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. We've kind of been on hiatus for a bit
Yes,
with our
it's good to have you
schedules,
back.
so good to see you.
We need some Emerald Labs education, Stacy. So
All
it's
right,
good to
let's
have you
do it.
back. People have been asking. We need our Emerald education. So we're going to be highlighting back to school immune health. This
Yeah, yeah.
will be airing like kind of in mid-fall,
Oh,
but the principles still apply. It doesn't matter. This will apply also into the winter,
yeah.
fall, winter, and even starting off 2026 on the right foot for yourself and for your kiddos if you have kids and the whole family. So cold flu season, group activities, parties, Thanksgiving, Christmas and New Year's, all this kind of stuff.
Let's talk.
So let's start things off with PureWay-C. It's one of my favorite versions of vitamin C. I've used this a lot myself, but I've prescribed it clinically. We're not giving any medical advice. I'm not telling anyone to start taking this. We're just doing some education, talking about why it might be valuable. Start us off with PureWay-C, Stacy.
So this is a good standalone, and I'm sure you're probably going to pull up the little bottle to
Yep.
show people that are watching. So we have several standalones in the Emmer Labs, kind of the line of a lot of different immune products. And so PureWay-C is the one that is it's in our vitamin, it's in our multivitamin, it's in several formulas. And so right away, what people need to know is that we're using patented registered trademark ingredients. And so our formulator is Dr. Mark Stingler, as you know, naturopathic medical doctor. And so PureWay-C is a patented registered trademark ingredient. Anybody can sell it, anybody can put it in their formulas. But for us, we're using 2 capsules per 500 milligrams. And we've also made it our own a little bit by adding a reduced alpha lipoic acid. So for consumers to know, whenever you're looking at these
Got it.
labels right away, I think it's really important to navigate that label and see right away we have the banner underneath the name of the product, okay, of the formula. So enhanced liposomal absorption. So we're showing the consumer right away it's liposomal. So it's going to be for people that don't understand. Normally, vitamin C has a 4 hour retention. So with this, like with this PureWay-C, they note that they are a 12 hour. Okay. And so 12-hour retention is huge. I mean, that's triple the amount. So
Right.
12-hour retention, water and fat soluble. Oh, okay, this is good to bring up right here. Okay. Like the other ingredients is just the vegetable capsule as well.
Yep.
So when we're looking at 500 milligrams, that's per 2 capsule. Selling point here on this bottle would be it's a 90 count. So it's a 45-day supply.
Uh-huh.
So there are some people that, right, want to take more vitamin C than just prescribed, especially if they're facing immune issues or cold and flu seasons, facing something that, they're around people, etc. Right? So
Yeah.
500 is just kind of standard. So we've got 2 capsules, 45-day supply for the consumer that's kind of looking at a more of a value added size. And then alpha lipoic acid. I like to tell people that the ALA in here, as a potent free radical scavenger in the reduced form, tends to pump a little bit more life into an extinguishing antioxidant. And in this case, what would it be? It's the vitamin C. So the vitamin C starts to kind of die off or oxidize because antioxidants are just that. They've been free radically scavenging
Hmm.
all day in the system, right? And so with that, what happens? They start to extinguish, they start to die off. And in this case, by us adding alpha lipoic acid to kind of make it more of an Emerald Labs formula, think of that as a little paramedic pumping more life into that vitamin C. So maybe we're hoping that it stays in the system a little bit longer.
Right, like you said, ALA is a potent antioxidant. It
Mhm.
supports other antioxidants, and vitamin C is like the chief. Probably my favorite vitamin. Love that
Yeah.
thing. We
Well,
do
you
a
take
lot
a
of,
lot. You
yeah, I
take a
take it
lot,
every single day. I mean, I'm doing
a lot.
five,
You
8, 10
noted.
grams a
Yeah.
day. But we do a lot of high dose vitamin C at the clinic as well, IV therapy.
Yeah.
So But ALA helps, like you said, neutralize free radicals, regenerates other antioxidants, reduces inflammation by fighting oxidative stress. Earlier today, with the previous guest, we covered oxidative stress. Like, what does that even mean when something's an antioxidant? What is that? It's preventing oxidation, which is like rusting, like when a piece of metal gets rusty. That can
Yeah.
literally happen inside of our body, inside the arteries. Maybe not the exact same chemical process, but like that idea, things get stiff, older, like stenosed. Arteries become less flexible over time with age. So things like vitamin C and alpha lipoic acid can help prevent that, right, Stacy?
Yeah, one of my favorites is Lipoic Acid. I think everybody should be on like 600 a day. I mean, talk about liver regeneration, talk about neuropathy. I mean,
Neuropathy,
it's
exactly.
really looked at as a Europharma across the pond. I mean, the
And
United States
then
don't look at it
also
that way.
also in diabetics, not only because
Oh
of
yeah,
the blood sugar regulation, but a lot of diabetics get neuropathy. So
yeah,
it can help potentially hit those. It does a lot of different things. It increases elasticity, like we just said, to the arteries, and the skin helps potentially with more youthful appearance. But so does vitamin C. Like you can't make
yeah.
collagen
Want things
without
to be
vitamin
flexible,
C.
right?
Right.
Flexible and bendable. Our skin, hair, and nails, okay? Our arterial walls, our bone matrix. We want things to be flexible and bendable. And people need to understand that. So there's a lot of antioxidants, free radical scavengers that are out there that, you know, the vitamins, minerals, super important, and antioxidants. There's a lot out there that nature provides for us to maintain a healthy level of living.
Absolutely. So again, that's the PureWay-C, and you guys can
Yeah,
come talk to Stan, the demo man. He's demoing Emerald Labs products. Again, the additive-free company. Why is it called that? Because, as Stacy mentioned, the other ingredients is literally just a hypromellose and water, or hypromellose, however you want to pronounce
yeah,
that,
yeah.
vegetable capsule. That's it. Nothing else is added in there, and then just the vitamin C and the alpha lipoic acid, and they're consistent with that across all their products across the brand at Emerald. So,
Yeah,
PureWay-C
this
is
veggie cap.
some
Do you
yes.
just if people are like don't know what hypromellulose is, this is kind of a new addition to our label,
Uh huh.
but we are FDA audited, so we're trying to be as transparent and informative for the consumer at a legal level. Hypromellulose is just the most top of the line capsule that we can get in our hands. It's a two shell hard cap, quick dissolving capsule, and it's derived from wood pulp. And in this case, the hypromellulose, the wood pulp is pine bark. It's not pycnogenol, but it's a very high quality pine bark. And so if people are interested in vegetable capsules and who's using what, this is what we're using, hypermellulose.
Got it. And then PureWay-C, this is liposomal, correct?
Hypermellose, I think I'm putting in an extra syllable.
Yeah, the
Hyper,
U. It's just hypromellose.
hypermellose.
Right, right, right.
Yes. Both you and I.
So, so this is liposomal vitamin C, correct?
Yeah, and so that's a good point that you bring up for people to understand that. So it's a project verified non-GMO ascorbic acid. So it's clean corn before it goes to the lab, right?
Yeah.
So the bottom line is it's bound to citrus bioflavonoids, so water soluble, and then it's bound to vegetable fatty acids, so it's fat soluble. So then enhancing a 12-hour retention for the body or the stay, and that's what we want people to understand. Normally, vitamin C over the counter, like 4 hours. So when you see something that's a 12-hour retention that we put right on the bottle. So first of all, we're showing the consumer on the banner across on the front label. We're trying to educate and inform at the shelf level. So you're going to see a banner that's going to show you something that's super important. And then you see the ALA under there, and then you're going to see
Right.
two bullet points, 12-hour retention. And then for people that understand that's for immune support.
Thank you for that. Perfect. And again, cold and flu season, it's not a bad idea to
Approaching,
start ramping up your vitamin C levels. Not even just when you're feeling like you're getting sick.
no, yeah, like
That's
what
when
do
it's
you
almost too late. Not too late, but that definitely is going to help cut duration and severity down. Even if you are already feeling sick, it helps cut down the length of the sickness or the illness. But preventatively, it reduces the chances of it happening at all. So, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I just totally agree with you. Preventative maintenance is everything. I mean, you're a doctor, you're seeing so many people, people that are on the floor in the store of healthy habits, seeing so many people, teachers, like hairdressers, like
Good
all of
point.
us that talk to people so much. And then the close talkers, like if you're around so many people traveling on the planes, right?
The close talkers, that's fun. You've had
I
those
know.
people that stay in that close to you, right? You're just
It
kind
goes
of
back
trying
to
to back away there.
Seinfeld. Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
So
no, you have to be
perfect.
aware of that because you're just going to be kind of bombarded with other people's
That's a
funk.
good point. Like different occupations need to bump up their vitamin C intake, like healthcare workers. Healthcare workers should all be taking way more vitamin C than the rest of the population. I think that's
If you're
huge.
traveling on the planes,
Yeah, flight
that's
attendants.
huge.
Thanks for highlighting that one, Stacy. That's the PureWay-C by Emerald
Yeah.
Labs, and then we also have. I want to cover the elderberry combo. We might have
Oh, okay.
never, or it's been a long time, at least over a year, since we've discussed the elderberry combo, and I'll also pull that up here as a screen share. Tell us about this and
So
how
one
it's
first
different.
thing,
How is it
yeah.
different from the PureWay-C?
So well, it's so the elderberry is a combination, a formula from
Yeah,
Dr. Sampler that is elderberry. So it's a black elderberry combined with the PureWay-C and then our Albion zinc. Okay.
got it.
So one thing I think is a takeaway for people to hear is that Hippocrates called the elderberry his tree. Like
Mm,
it was where did I see that? His medicine chest.
uh-huh.
The elderberry tree was his medicine chest. So I get elderberry yearly from like herb stores when I'm traveling, whole elderberry. And then in the hotel rooms, I put them through the coffee maker with the hot water and make my own, elderberry tea.
Good.
I think it's super, super important. It is an antioxidant, or we can call it a free radical scavenger. But with this formula, especially when we're talking about coming up with cold and flu season, is a combination that Dr. Stengler put together with the patented PureWay-C, the Albion Zinc, which is a biglycinate,
Right.
and then this elderberry, which is these are European standardized extracts. And so we put that right on the front of the label. So when we're using European standardized extracts, I want your listeners to understand that that's the top of the line.
Right.
Only one that's not the European would be olive leaf in our fruit line, and that's a Mediterranean standardized extracts. So when things are standardized, purest, purest that we can get.
Amazing. Yes, the research is very heavy in the European elderberry version. 10 to 1 extract helps provide the optimal support. And elderberry by itself is really high in vitamin C. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a
So an
good pair.
antiviral right there for the consumers to hear. Like you were talking about earlier, like
Yeah.
severity, in cold and flu duration for air travelers, I would always say like travel with a little bag of elderberries,
Yeah.
and just make your own little tea. I mean, it's quite amazing.
Uh-huh.
It's
So,
antimicrobial for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and then we get two capsules will give us 300 milligrams as opposed to in the Pure Whey C it's 500 per two caps, but this is a way more dense formula, comprehensive formula, because it has
Yeah.
the zinc in there and the European elderberry extract. Again, the research supports specifically European elderberry extract. There's other ones that have been studied too, but there's a lot of good research on the European version where you're getting 500 milligrams per two capsules. So, when would somebody want to consider this as opposed to just a Pure Whey C? How would you navigate that
Okay.
and help somebody choose better?
So
That
I would, for sure, Dee, I would put that in my travel bag.
mm,
So not just zinc or not just PureWay-C. I would put that combination in my
got it.
travel bag. If you're not going to travel with elderberries, like I keep recommending, but if you want to travel with this, just put it in a little tiny bag or put the bottle in your suitcase. This is going to be a good takeaway for you. If you wake up with a little sore throat, if you know that you've been next to a sick person on the plane, if you, the close talkers we talked about, if you are doing a lot of education or just around a lot of different people that you may not know. Let's keep this in kind of as an arsenal. I like to call that an arsenal.
Got it. That's good. Yes, that's a good way to remember it.
Yeah.
So then we also have the zinc as a standalone, which I'll pull up here next. The zinc as Albion. Tell us about Albion again. You've taught us about this before in a previous episode, but we always have new tuners listening in.
Yeah.
What's the Albion zinc specifically?
So for your listeners to kind of grasp onto Albion, Albion is the mineral company that Emerald Labs purchases from. So Albion is known worldwide for being or holding the gold standard of excellence for
Mm,
chelating their minerals to amino acids. In this case, it's a glycine molecule. So they're called biglycinates or bisglycinates, okay? Highly, highly absorbable. So when you think about emerald, always remember that we're using the most top of the line raw ingredients, patented, registered trademark with human clinical studies. Our formulator, Dr. Stingler, does not like animal studies. He wants human clinical studies to base his formulas on that he is creating for the
right,
consumer. Okay. And I'm sure you think that's very important as well.
right,
So zinc, what do we know? Oh, immune support. So this is an albumin chelated biglycinate. With us, this is a 3 month supply. Okay, so you see the 90 count there.
right.
Each capsule is at 25. So why we're doing that is that 25 is going to be in between somebody that's taken a multi. It can be also good for a child or elderly person, right? So you can add on to this. So would you agree with that? That 25 is kind of like keeping it available for everybody.
Exactly. If you're doing more than that, like 50 and above every single day, that
Uh-huh.
can start depleting your copper levels and throw
Right.
off the ratio of other minerals. But 25 is a solid number. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
take
like,
that per day, pretty much 25.
okay, would you, but do you also take a multi and do you include an extra 25? Like educate the consumer, like you're like, let's be smart about zinc. If
Sometimes I'll add a
you
multi, especially
multi,
if I haven't been on top of my meal prepping. Then I'll
yeah,
throw in a multi if I'm too busy.
yeah,
But
okay,
I do like taking zinc with copper as well. Some
okay,
multivitamins will add that in.
yeah.
But this has the tocotriene complex with it, which is nice. And like you said, it's only 25 milligrams per capsule. I mean, always work with your doctor to check how much you should be taking and then maybe measure it in the blood too. You can do blood serum tests for your zinc levels to track that over time as well. So, and
Maybe
maybe in
just
times
check.
when you're feeling ill and you
Yeah.
up your vitamin C, maybe you increase your vitamin or your zinc as well with it for several days and then go back down to 25. There's different ways to do it. You know, we're just trying to educate on this specific product. So,
Yeah. And so one thing, Dee, is for you to educate your listeners is that we usually what do you want? 50 on a daily basis or 25? Because in our men's multi, we have 15. So you
exactly. No, I don't want 50
add
daily, me
no,
personally, or but
no, yeah.
that's where you're risking it can build up too high, and then throw off your copper levels because zinc and copper are really tightly regulated,
Yeah.
and 50 is a lot. I mean, I know some companies do offer a 50 per capsule, but 15 to 25 is safer. It looks like long term, unless you're also taking a multivitamin where you're getting all these other minerals and vitamins with it to
So
support.
as I takeaway, people, if you're taking the zinc, be careful if you're taking the elderberry as well, because we've got the zinc in the elderberry. So just
Yeah, yeah.
be cautious to not go over 50 for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just, general. Always work with your doc. We're just trying to give some general education tips here, but you're right. Zinc supports over 300 enzymes in the body. It's not just immune system, folks. It's talking about DNA synthesis, growth and development. It even
Yourself?
helps with diabetes and helping your insulin be more sensitive to help people to lower their blood glucose. So prostate health, I use it a lot, Stacy, in my prostate patients, people that are trying to prevent prostate cancer or who have been recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. Iodine's another really common one that's needed for prostate health. So zinc does a lot.
It's good for wound healing,
Yep.
cell growth, just not immune, like what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Like it's important. Some
Exactly.
people also can take it for mood,
Uh huh.
like mood function, helping improve the mood. Like zinc is it's an important mineral. Vitamins and minerals, listeners, vitamins and minerals.
Right, exactly.
Super.
Essential nutrient, most common,
Yes.
one of the most common trace elements in the human body. So again, this is also found in that Elderberry Plus formula, like Stacy
Yeah.
was just hinting at with the PureWay-C. So we're trying to give you as much as we can here in 26 minutes and all the different combinations. So next up on the menu would be NAC and glutathione. I've used a lot of the NAC. It's the vegan NAC from Emerald Labs.
Oh
You don't
yeah.
have to be vegan. Just because it says vegan on the bottle doesn't mean you have to be a full vegan or vegetarian to take the products. People think that everything they consume has to be from an animal source. Like there has to be meat at every single meal, or they're gonna die or something. I mean, guys, you don't need meat at every single meal. But anyways, that's a different topic. So tell us
Oh yeah,
about NAC. Let's hear it.
vitamin C is some, I mean, there's so many things I take every single day that I just feel like are so important. So N-acetylcysteine is super important to me. I mean, there's several reasons that Dr. Stingler put out the 2-month bottle. So if people want to research like, okay, vegan, Emerald Labs were pretty much a 98% vegan driven line. So that's kind of where we go. And so when we find a vegan and we put it right across the front, we're proud to put that. Okay. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of amino acids are gathered from like synthesized duck feathers.
Mm,
And so this vegan it's from a fermented corn, okay? 2 month the 2 month here is super important because N-acetylcysteine is like not only just developing or assisting in our glutathione production as far as a precursor, right? N-acetylcysteine, but additionally, a lot of people don't understand or know that they could take this for if they're having feelings of depression, like symptomology of depression.
mm,
So indicators of use for this would be, this is why it's in a 2 month supply. So indicators of use would be to kind of suppress the feelings of depression, okay, the
right.
symptomology of depression. And there's a lot of human clinical studies out there on it. So you can certainly just Google N-acetylcysteine and depression. It is going to be there. The second thing, so that would be at, so 600 would be like a one daily, just like let's improve our glutathione production. Okay. And with the cysteine, so let's improve that glutathione production at one per day, 600. If we did 1,200 a day, where would we going? We'd be looking at the depression symptomology. And like
Mm,
I said, people can really Google that. And one of my favorites, Dr. Ahmed, the neuroscientist, neurosurgeon, I think he's neurosurgeon. I follow him like crazy. So he
uh-huh.
speaks a lot about NAC using them in his Florida clinics for uh, Dr. Ahmed has them for substance abuse. Okay. And
Addictions, yeah.
Florida, yeah, addictions. Yeah. So you already know this. So the N-acetylcysteine at 1,200 a day, helping with depression. Okay, that's associated with addiction.
Yeah.
And then also, sorry, I've got a crow here. 2,400, 2,400. So twice a day, 1,200 and 1,200 separated. Looking at the indicators of use would be for somebody that has addictive behavior. So we're looking at curbing the addictive behavior, whether in my mind, it's like anything that's like ruminating, any not
Oh,
just drugs, alcohol, or pharmaceuticals. It's whatever is like driving that dopamine drive in my mind. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
there's
dopamine drive could be like what? It could be like gambling, it could be driving fast, it could
oh yeah,
be overeating, it could be sugar, it could be uh scrolling, doom scrolling. It could be coming home and gaming at night and avoiding
exactly.
your family with the games that they play on the TV. People play it on, I don't say mean to say they, but people that play it on excessive gaming until like 3 in the morning.
Totally.
So all the stuff I've researched, this happens. And so in my mind, that's a kind of some kind of a ruminating dopamine response of what's driving them to what are they looking forward to instead of what they should be doing, right?
Yeah, NEC is one of my favorite supplements. I
Me
love this
too.
stuff.
Me
It's
too.
really good for the liver. It helps you recycle glutathione,
Oh yeah.
which we'll see if we have time to touch on that one here today. But it does male infertility, GI diseases, eye diseases, psychiatric, like you said, psychiatric illnesses used by Dr. Amen, who's in Florida. You said I thought he was in California, but I guess he's
Okay, so
I don't know.
he runs the institutes in Florida.
Oh,
He has
okay,
a director there and they do podcasts together, but his place is in Southern California where he's
that's what I
doing
thought.
all the brain
Okay,
scanning.
got it. But
He
yeah,
actually
NAC, yeah, they
scans
do
the brain.
the spec scans. They do.
Yes, he
So
actually scans all his daughter's boyfriend's brains.
okay, really,
Yes.
that's smart.
Hilarious.
Interesting. So
Yes.
yeah, NAC, this is straight from a PubMed study, precursor of cysteine, which is an amino acid. So it
Yep.
helps replenish, like I said, glutathione, which is the master antioxidant, the main liver nutrient. NAC helps clear mucus out of the lungs. It was a really common supplement people started taking during COVID.
Totally.
It helps bind heavy metals. It regulates cell cycle and cell death, so it helps balance that out. So anti-tumor activities, protects our DNA. It does so many different things. It affects mitochondrial processes, so those are like the energy producing factories in our body. So you
So
can't go wrong
affordable.
with NAC. And
So affordable. Like
yeah,
everybody should be taking at least 600 a day. It's so affordable. If you
yeah.
can wake up and do 1200, you're really starting to properly avoid a lot of issues that you might be
But
facing.
even what you said, it helps in the dopamine regulation system,
Yeah.
like the D2, D3 receptors, they're called, the dopamine 2 and the dopamine 3 receptors in the brain and the nerve endings. It helps replenish those and open them back up with people that have been dealing with substance abuse and addictions through their life or for the last several years. It helps to replenish that, helps you get your dopamine response back to where it should be naturally instead of relying on all these other substances and games and things you shouldn't be watching and alcohol and all this kind of stuff, smoking, all that. So like you said, a lot of NACs are not vegan. So that's why it's important that that's on here to help
It's
customers
all that
understand that.
showing you right away to get you like educate you at the shelf level just from right there. And a 2 month
Yeah.
supply, very affordable. I say two, right when you wake up, you can take it on an empty tummy. There's a lot of things that you can get you jump started with your day
Right.
that can affect your mood in a positive way, like our cerebral calm, our elevated mood, our mushroom, and then the N-acetylcysteine. Those are the four I start with every day because I can take it on an empty tummy and then I can wait to eat a little bit and then take the B complex and other things like a multi.
Well, that's why you're getting younger over time, Stacy. That's
Oh
why.
boy.
Look at that. That's the secret right there for the skin. No wrinkles and longevity, anti-aging. So that's about all the time we have. But
All
I
right.
always appreciate you coming on. We highlighted Zinc, the Albion version, the PureWay-C by Emerald Labs, which is the liposomal enhanced version, which has a little bit of that alpha lipoic acid in there. We even explained that ALA a little bit,
Yeah.
alpha
Yeah.
lipoic acid, what it could do. Elderberry Plus, which has the Zinc, PureWay-C, and the elderberry, European elderberry extract in there. And then we finished off on that NAC, both of our favorites, one of our favorites
Yes.
for both of us.
Uh,
NAC
NAC and
is
alpha lipoic acid, my
in our toxic world. It's not a bad idea to consider NAC. So emeraldlabs.com, folks. And again, come talk to Stan, the demo man. He's here Tuesday through Saturday, and he'll help you pick out the right Emerald Labs product you need. And Stacy, until next time, thanks so much for coming on.
till next time. Thanks, Steve. Good to see you.